We're in Madrid. My first impression about its architecture is how monumental it is. Everything is monumental and grand and picturesque and pompous, sometimes a little bit over the top. Now we're standing in front of the Royal Palace, a great edifice that's surrounded by numerous pilasters and columns. Opposite that direction is the cathedral, which is its equal in terms of monumentalism and number of columns that are in front of it. This way we see the opera, another fine example of monumental architecture, but a royal palace, an opera, a cathedral are suitable places to find your bit of pompous architecture, to find this element of monumentality to a building. Well, this is the greatest of functions. Here lives the king, that is the temple of art, and that is the cathedral, the temple of God. So maybe this is the only way to express it in architectural terms. But in Madrid, everything seems to be a little bit over the top, a little bit too monumental, because Madrid boasts many fine examples of architecture of the Belle Epoque. At the turn of 20th century, architects were trying to out-design one another, add even more columns, even more cupolas, even more quadrigas than their competitors. Let's take a short walk along the streets of central Madrid to see how they chose to take part in this architectural competition. We're on the main street of Madrid, the Gran Via. This is where the most elegant buildings are located. One can say that some of them are even too decorative or ornamental. It is hard to appreciate each of their details because there are simply too many things to look at. Every step we take, the buildings are competing for our attention. Street corners, like here, often have something special to offer, like a cupola, a gloriette, or an extravagant sculpture. It's not just the selection of architectural details, but also their juxtaposition, what makes architecture of Gran Via and surrounding streets so picturesque. Sometimes these juxtapositions are peculiar. For example, here the architects apparently didn't settle for just a bent colonnade. They just had to add these two towers with four-horse chariots or quadrigas on top. And here, probably the designer couldn't decide whether he wanted his building to have a quadriga or a cupola. So, he put one on top of the other. This somewhat oversized gate, flanked by two columns, obviously, is just the corner elevation of the Bank of Spain building. On the opposite side of the square, it is matched by equally monumental and huge edifice of the Ayuntamiento de Madrid. And when you think that this cannot get more monumental, more grand, just take a look at the center of that square. There is a fountain which features a chariot drawn by two lions. But there is a building in Madrid that stands out from the crowd, not by its huge number of columns or even greater domes or even better, more monumental sculptures. It stands out from the crowd because it has none of them. In the middle of another roundabout, just next to the main train station, Madrid Atocha, stands an elliptical tower, stripped of any detail. This is the monument to the victims of terrorist attacks on Madrid Regional Railway on the 11th of March 2004, which took the lives of almost 200 and left almost 2,000 wounded. It was obvious that such a tragedy should have been commemorated. Shock and grief felt by the people of Madrid were hard to express in words. So, the architects from FAM Arquitectura chose to honor the victims with silence. But how to do that on a noisy and busy intersection? The overground portion of the monument is an irregular, elliptical glass cylinder, 11 meters tall. One can say nothing easier. But it very well could be the first truly glass edifice. It consists of around 15,000 glass bricks, each weighing over 8 kilograms, glued together with transparent adhesive. The roof is also made of glass. 12 sheets rest on 5 glass beams. But this is not all. Beneath the cylinder, there's a small room painted blue, accessible from the underground passageways of the Atocha station. In the midst of rush and noise of the train station, the architects created a space of universal spiritual valor, where time seemingly stops. There's nothing more than just a bench, but yet the place has a moving ambience. The cylinder seems to be the sole source of light. Like in the medieval cathedrals, here the light is also filtered. Not through stained glass though, but through a membrane with thousands of condolence messages in various languages. This membrane is kept up only by a slight overpressure in the room. The monument to the victims of the terrorist attacks at Atosha is a very simple building. There are no cupolas, no colonnades, no sculptures. But this very simplicity is what makes this building stand out. It shows that you can speak about very serious themes, about very serious topics in an architectural language that is very silent, that almost whispers, but yet it shouts. Thanks for watching this video. Click below to see more videos about architecture and click here to subscribe to this channel. See you soon.